and prepare to laugh. It's the Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 23 of the Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. I'm your host, Gingerboy, this week. Joined by the regular guys, we got the Jack of Hearts, and I'm pointing.
Hello.
And then also we have Knuckles.
Good day, mates.
Oh god, it's one of those. Alright, and we actually got a special guest this week. We are joined by the legendary Yoshifett.
Hi. Yeah, legendary, I suppose. That's quite the intro. I don't know how I'm going to make up for my legendary status now. Yep, I'm here. I heard that you guys were doing a game of the what is this? Game of the Generation podcast?
Yep. Yes, it is.
And you're inviting me on, and this is a little bit of an honor, I have to say. I feel a little honored, to be part of this historic episode. I want to say, though, that though I am a nerd, I am not currently drunk. I do not know if I fit the specs of the show exactly right. Do you have to be drunk at all times since you're recording this episode?
No, not really, because Gabe is bone-ass sober every episode.
I never drink.
Is Gabe straight edge? Does he have a black X on the back of his hand?
Yeah, he's actually our designated driver. That's why we have
no comment.
You need that. It's important. No.
The black X.
You shouldn't belittle him for it.
He keeps us on track, especially when we do episodes after Bad Movie Drinkies.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds like a terrible idea to try to record anything for posterity after doing a bad movie drinky.
I agree.
Especially if the movie's particularly bad, then you're gonna be drinking a lot.
Hello,
it's one of the most depressing.
It was.
It's one of the most depressing podcasts ever here.
Everyone's coming down from the alcohol high.
It was really good in the beginning.
I don't even like video games.
You could just tell how soapy we were getting as the show went on. It was crazy. But
it was like.
But anyways, we are doing our top 10 games of the generation this week. Sorry for not recording last week. Unfortunately, my modem decided to take a shit the night we were going to record. So finally got my modem today. So we are podcasting. So we'll start off there. What we're gonna do is we're gonna each we'll do 10 each, and then we'll go on the 9, then 8, and 7, and 6, and 5, and so on and so forth. We'll start off with by order of my screen here. Knuckles, what's your number 10?
My number 10 is actually a game that came out in late 2007, and I have a background echo on someone, so I hope it's not picking up.
I got a background as well here.
Yeah, I can hear some background, but it's not coming from me.
Hello.
I promise.
Hello.
It's gone now. No, it's not.
Oh, well, fuck it. Alright, well, my number 10 is Halo 3.
Idiot.
Oh my god.
Let me tell you why my number 10 is Halo 3.
It's okay. I think it's alright at 10. I'm sorry. I just had to say that. That's fine.
Yeah, trust me, it's the only Halo that actually reached it to my top 10, so. But, there's actually several reasons why I made this in my top 10, but mainly it's because at first when I put countless hours into it, don't really care. But it actually, I believe Halo 3 put me at where I'm at today.
An alcoholic?
I got into an alcoholic.
Unemployed in your mom's basement? What? Halo 3 is so effective. It does so much to your life.
No, I'm actually employed full-time and a full-time college student, so.
Oh. Well, that doesn't make my joke as funny, so whatever.
Wait.
Got you to college? Is that where it got you? Ooh.
Yeah. But, put me into a clan. The clan put me into a
KKK?
Yeah,
Are you saying that Halo hates black people? Is what we're saying here?
Halo is like George Bush and it hates black people.
Halo does not care about black people.
But
Cue Mike Myers awkwardly staring at the camera.
But I actually think we made fun of that a couple episodes ago.
Oh.
But yeah, put me to it's definitely good. Crap, I lost my train of thought already. This is gonna be a fun episode, everybody.
Woo! Only 9 more to go.
You're right. It put me to a professional video site, then took me to Big Red Sarcastic Gamer, Big Red Barrel, which brought me to Talking Ship, which brought me here. So at least owe it that, and I've made
Circle of Life.
Yeah, Circle.
The circle of life.
And thanks to Halo 3, I've made like dozens of fans, so I figured it deserves number 10.
We have dozens of fans?
No, it gave me dozens of friends.
He does, not you
okay.
guys.
He had dozens.
As an
He had
individual.
dozens until they heard me talk, and they're like, oh, never mind, we're done.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, Halo 3, my number 10. Go ahead.
Give me Knuckles. Give me a one sentence explanation of why this game deserves to be in the top 10.
Well, for me, is like I made dozens of friends and I've gotten to where I'm at. That's
So, it's on the game.
One sentence about the game, not about the effect it had. Not like I bought this game, then I got a blowjob, so it's in the top 10. like something directly related to the game itself.
Game, actually.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
like what about the actual gameplay or graphics or mechanics or story or anything that you would say, okay, this is a top 10 game of the generation because of that?
Damn.
See,
well, at the time, there really wasn't. It was between the Halo and Call of Duty war.
Call of Duty War?
Yeah, Call of Duty war.
Call of Duty War Edition.
Warfighter.
Grand Theft Halo, Call of Duty. Yeah, it's the multiplayer. Like, it just sucked me in. It was like one of the first few games I'd actually got when I got my 360. And I played that for like hours upon hours, and I actually somewhat enjoyed the campaign, and though going back to the game sucks.
Which is why you put it in your top 10.
Which is why it's my top 10.
That's a great, that was a lovely haiku. Alright. So going on, let's try to bring this up from that one. We're going order again. We're going to go with Yoshifett. What's your number 10?
I kind of moved all my games around a little bit here, and I'm not really... The bottom few could kind of almost be interchangeable, but I'm going to go with Assassin's Creed 2 for my number 10 game. I really, really like that one. You know, it's funny. It's the only one that's on my top 10 list. It may not even be my favorite one of the Assassin's Creed series, but overall, from beginning to end, start to finish, has a great story. The mechanics, much better than the first game. They improved over the first game, which I really, appreciate that when developers look at a game, they go, hey, you know what? People kind of said Assassin's Creed 1 was kind of boring, so let's add some other stuff that'll make it more fun. And I think Ezio is one of the best characters of this gen. So I'm gonna give number 10 to Assassin's Creed 2 because I really enjoy that game. Even the feather collecting, goddammit. Which I did. Which I put myself through the trauma of doing that. So.
Did you play Saints Row 4?
No, I haven't. I played 3 like crazy.
Well,
speaking of which, that should be on my list somewhere.
Well, Saints Row 4 has something a little bit worse than the feathers. It has these data clusters, and at least with Assassin's Creed 2, there's 50 of them.
100.
But
100.
Yeah.
Well, for the feathers, I mean, it's like the feathers, and the data clusters for Saints Row 4. There's 1,500 of them.
Oh God.
Oh boy.
There are data clusters and Revelations, but
Yeah.
I don't think you really have to get them to beat the
No, you
game.
don't.
I haven't
No.
beaten that game
No,
yet
you
though.
don't.
I'm just slogging through it. I'll never beat that game. I'm convinced.
No, especially if you're gonna do all the.
Any rate,
Especially if you're gonna do all the first-person crap. That's just awful.
oh gosh, who the hell designed that?
No.
Oh my God, they should be killed.
No, that whole part is awful. But no, I really enjoy.
No trial, no jury, just execute.
I'm okay with
Whatever.
that.
First person.
All right,
So, anyways, Assassin's Creed 2. I'll throw on the
very
list.
nice. All right, Jackie, what's your number 10?
Alright, my number 10. Let me get out my iPod here. Oh, yeah, my number 10 that I got on my list here is Uncharted 2, Among Thieves.
Nice, very nice.
Now, for Uncharted 2, I was really impressed by, by a lot of the various little gameplay stuff. I mean, immediately when you start the game, you're just sitting on that train, you know, and it does not until like at least about like a few after the set of cutscenes and stuff like that, you're finally get to the main like gameplay and stuff, and you're just hanging like just like over a cliff, right? And you have to try to climb up the train and stuff like that, hide behind cover, just try to dodge all this various stuff. It's just action-packed moments like that I really liked inside Uncharted 2. I mean, yeah, it was incrementally better than the original Uncharted. There wasn't any, like, really frustrating parts about carry it over from, like, the original Uncharted. But main things I liked about it, I liked that the puzzles were more focused, I would think, a little bit more focused than, say, what Uncharted had first originally introduced. But yeah, I really liked a lot of the, just really liked a lot of those elements and stuff. Plus, the multiplayer I thought was pretty fun. You know, I just blew like a couple of dozen hours and stuff with a couple friends, just trying that because it was just random, sporadic and stuff. So yeah, Uncharted 2 Among Thieves.
I agree. Very underrated multiplayer on that game. I really enjoyed playing multiplayer on that game, and I don't hear enough people talk about it.
It was really fun.
Very unique and different. Yeah,
I remember I used to spend like at least sometimes like during some of the maps and stuff. There's this one particular map in Uncharted 2 where there's just like this well or something right in the middle of the map where, you know, players can go underneath the well and do all this stuff, but I would generally just go up on the well. I would just hang right from the well, so whenever somebody would try to get to the middle of the map, which you had a whole bunch of people that try to do that, I go over there, I peek above, and then I just start just capping off guys left and right.
Well, hey, get them where they come.
Yep.
Good game.
It is.
I'm with you.
Cannot argue with that one. I guess with my number 10 is Far Cry 3. This game didn't do anything to like overall revolutionize gaming, but I thought they did. They took a lot of elements of other games that did, other really good games that did great things, and they just put it all together in one. I thought like and Jack just left. Infamous there. Jack leaving in the middle of the podcast.
Motherfucker.
That's fine. We'll just keep going.
No, we like to make fun of him because he does it like every episode. But no, what?
At least this time we actually see your ass leave.
But no, like just like the climbing of the towers is kind of like an Assassin's Creed where you climb up and you do the synchronization. I thought the shooting elements were great. The story, I had to knock it on the story because I can't tell if like you're supposed to hate the characters in the game or like on purpose, or if like they legitimately try to make these guys likable, because like they're rich people that, you know, they're on vacation, they got everything going for them, and then these terrible things happen to them. And I don't know if that was just part of the plan, is like to make them.
I think it's satire. I you know what? After playing through that game and then after playing Blood Dragon, I was like, they knew what they were doing here. They gave you this Jason character. They made you hate him. They made you hate his girlfriend. They made you hate. I mean, there's nobody to like in that game except for Voss, and he doesn't make it all the way to the end, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's the best.
That's really the weakness of that game, is that they set up this great villain and then they don't take him all the way.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's the most interesting character in that game. That being said, I would definitely, this one sniffed my top 10 too, just because what it did really well. Like, is there any game where you can stalk a base like that and take out the alarms and then, you know, take the guys out, and there's so many different ways to approach each individual situation? It's really unique in that way. I haven't played any.
Yeah, that's one reason I did. So. Like, even though I think there might be other games that obviously I think they're like that. They're going to be on my list above it. But I agree with you. Like, we're just the sneaking, going to the bases, and like you see 20 enemies with guns, and there's no way you can take them all. So you shoot like the lock on the cage, and the tiger comes out and kills them all. That just
right. or the times when you'd be scouting a base, and then arbitrarily some animals would come in and start killing for you. I mean, that was one of the greatest things about that game, was the kind of instantly generated creatures that would pop up and start getting in the middle of fights for you. And you're like, all right, got my back. All right, go get them.
See, the thing I didn't really care for about that game was actually, Jason.
Yeah.
Not to the fact that everyone's like douchebaggy and rich, upper class. More the fact that you're going on a killing spree. And then it goes to a cutscene, and then he's acting like a bitch.
Yeah. Well, and I think this is all intentional. I think we're supposed to sit there and go, how ridiculous is it that the kind of people who play first-person shooters in general are of this frat boy archetype? And I think we're supposed to kind of laugh at ourselves a little bit. Because, I mean, if we were put in the jungle with guns and shit, we'd be little bitches, too.
I wouldn't make it.
And so it's kind of pointing
I would have made it
out
of the initial cage I was locked in.
No, and I definitely wouldn't have made it out of the pile of bodies that you end up in at one point.
If your military trained brother doesn't make it, what are the chances you're not going to?
Right, and I think that's why it's so clear that it's satire, because they set it up at the beginning that for Jason to survive all this stuff is completely preposterous. Yet he becomes this warrior more and more, and I think we're supposed to relate to that and think it's funny. I think it's a funny game. I think it's bad on purpose, the writing, and I think that makes it a better game. I still doesn't make my top 10, but damn close. And whatever year that came out,
think it was
2 years ago or something, it was definitely my top 10 then.
It came out December 11.
Yeah, it was late 2011.
It was really good. I mean, it's total fun.
I think the only thing
the
reason why it's number 10 on my list is because I thought the last probably quarter of the game was not very good. And some of the boss fights were just terrible. With the boss fight with Boss was just underwhelming. The last boss fight you have in the poker game, and then I guess the last boss you have with like the woman shooting fireballs and stuff at you. It just kind of got weird with all the drug stuff. And I thought that was what hurt the game for me the most, was just that last quarter of the game. But it was one of those few games where I was hooked in. I think I nearly 100% of that game, which I'm not the kind of person that does that.
Wow.
So for me to like do any of the side quests, I think I did almost. I literally did almost everything in that game that you can do. So that's one of the main reasons why it's on my top 10.
Another argument towards it being satire is if you read the descriptions of the various things that you hunt and the different things that you do, there are a lot of little jokes in there at Jason's expense. And also all the creatures that you kill, all the animals on that island are
that's very
endangered.
true. Yeah.
So it feels very intentional to me on the part of Ubisoft to go, oh look, you want to be a badass and kill animals? Oh, you only get to kill endangered species. How do you feel now, bitch? Like it seems like it's clear they were trying to be clever. I think some people didn't get it, but I still think it's a fun, clever game.
Just how like most people don't understand that Cabin in the Woods is satire.
Oh boy, I hope most people understand that, because they might as well just have a big sign at the beginning of that movie that says satire. It's so obvious.
I had to explain it to my stepbrother and my mother about that. It's like that movie was terrible. It was like, do you not understand that it was a comedy?
Yeah. When you have a character that's basically Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, like, you know it's satire, right? I mean, come on, people. Get your shit together.
Hold on. I'll go get help.
No.
Oh yeah, that was.
Unfortunately, I had to explain to all my friends and family that satire, and then I had to explain to them what satire means. So that's unfortunate.
Oh shit!
Anyways,
God.
Let's keep going. We'll never get to this
we're
list.
like 20 minutes in. We're at number 10. All right, so number 9, guys. So Knuckles, what's your number 9?
My number 9 is the game you hate the most.
Is it Yu-Gi-Oh?
Tyler. It's actually, yes, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Decade Duels for the Xbox Live and PSN network.
You.
Alright, moving on.
Let me
Yoshi, what's your number 9?
Defend yourself.
Okay, Knuckles, go ahead. Go again.
Well, this game actually takes me back to my childhood, and it's kind of a go-to game. Like if I get bored and no one's on, and it's like, I'm going to go online, pick a duel, just play against somebody for 15 minutes, then get off and whatnot. It's a game that kills time for me, and especially when no one else is on, or when Tyler and Gabe are on, and they get very mad at the game.
Well, the reason why, in general, that most of us get angry at that damn game was because of the whole freaking technical difficulty, technical hiccups and stuff. Especially in the PS3 version,
that's only on the PS3 version.
Well, yeah, but even so, the whole damn game is expected you to just shell out little incremental things and stuff to pay for like more cards, like virtual cards. You know,
Tyler, get your
pay
ass
for your
off,
own packs. You know,
spend more
just-
money.
That's actually a
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. It's actually a drawback because when the game actually came out back in 2011, the game was actually easier for the players to actually get cards. So, but they actually went off it went off the marketplace like last year or the year before last, and it came back at last March with called Decade Duels Plus, which introduced like 3,000 new cards to the game. So it made it harder for new people to play, in which unfortunately that's when these guys came into it.
Well, I played that game before, though, but, yeah, the difficulty spike, I did notice it, but, still, it was a terrible choice in this decision.
Well, this is my decision. So.
I know. I'm not just saying your decision in general, no, I'm just saying that, just that game in general,
You
the idea
goddamn
of
piece
it.
of shit. How dare you ruin our list? You shit stained our list.
You think that's bad? Wait till I say some shit about your game.
Well,
Oh,
I'm coming to
well,
expect
you
it.
know, I'm very used to accustomed to being hated on, so it's all good. I like it. You know what they say, my haters. You know, my haters, they fuel me. To quote Kanye West, every superhero needs his theme music. You know, and it's the screams from the haters.
Got a nice
that's my
ring
theme
to it.
music.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. No one man.
All right, so
All right,
what's
moving
your
on.
number 9?
My number 9, it might be higher. I had a hard time placing this one because it's so new. I need time to think. Well, it's not that new, but it's new in my world. BioShock Infinite
Okay.
is a game that I thought was personally, I thought Last of Us and BioShock Infinite were kind of the capstones on this gen. Like, to me, they were the two games that really came out that made me realize the generation was over, and they kind of peaked with what they were able to do. Now, I know some people are going to say, oh, but Grand Theft Auto 5, blah, blah, blah. Not that into that game. But I'll just say this. You know, BioShock Infinite was one of the few games where I actually really paid attention to the story because it was super interesting. And a lot of games I play, and I'm sure you guys are the same way, or maybe not, I just kind of play it, and the story's just kind of like, okay, stuff is happening, I don't care, let me have fun. But in BioShock Infinite, I wanted to get through the fighting parts to see what the next, cutscene is going to be. And I thought the ending was pretty ingenious, and like most people said, I'm a big fan of the whole Irrational Games, the way they make games, and it's just a really cool, fun game. The design is great. The combat may not be up to, Call of Duty standards, but I don't really need that. I'm much more interested in the creativity of that game, and I thought it was extremely creative and fun and had the BioShock sheen on it. I don't know. Great game, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's like I definitely like that game. It's like just right when you get into Colombia, and just you're looking around, and you see the clouds, you see the blimps and everything. Like I want to stop what I'm doing, like stop progressing and just walk around.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to live there until I started hearing all the racist chatter and the signs. I was like,
baseball.
this place is great. Wait, what did you just say about brown people?
Hang-em!
What the hell?
Hang-em!
Anyway, so yeah, that's my
So,
my
Jackie
9.
Boy, what's your number 9?
My number 9 is Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead Redemption, to me, is one of those examples of, I believe that it has great storytelling, mixed in with fun, intuitive gameplay where it's just dragging me in and stuff. It has an expansive world, what I just really love just exploring. I mean, a lot of my time in Red Dead Redemption, if I wasn't doing a mission or I wasn't just bullshitting, with the townspeople or something like that, was going out exploring the various landscapes, the deserts, the forests and stuff, just getting my ass kicked by cougars and bears and all this other crap. But a lot of the story elements inside Red Dead Redemption I found really rewarding in terms of the big old payoff and stuff. Like once you enter inside Mexico in particular, I mean, yeah, the Mexico portion and stuff was just kind of dragging on, for most of the end of it though. But when you hear that music, especially when you get from where you're going, like that one fort base, I think it's in Texas, I think it is. upwards to entering Mexico, just that song playing in the background, you just riding your horse into like the sunset and stuff like that. It was a very awesome moment, and that was one of the few moments this generation where it's thinking, man, this is incredibly awesome. This is something that I wouldn't have expected, say, last generation or other things like that. But yet the thing I like most about Red Dead Redemption is just the whole culmination of John Marston and stuff, like his atonement and stuff like that, his judgment, like the last moments of that game. It's like, yeah, if I'm not too sure how many of you guys have actually played it all the way through, though, but it was just like an emotional thing, It's just you're just feeling for this character and stuff. You're feeling for his wife, his son and stuff. He's trying just to help clear his name and stuff, just try to get his family out of danger and stuff, and ultimately sacrifices himself just doing that. And, yeah, that's pretty much why I like it. That's why number 9.
Definitely a better reason so far
good.
than Knuckles reasons. Blowjobs and Yu-Gi-Oh! Alright, so let's go on with Knuckles. What's your number 8 game?
My number 8 game, and probably higher on the...
Oh, wait, I'm
Yoshifett's
sorry.
list.
Whoa, wait. I skipped my number 9. I skipped my number 9. Whoa.
That's you, yeah.
I'm so excited.
Huh?
We better blast through these lower numbered ones, or we're gonna have a 5-hour podcast.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I agree with Josh.
We should really debate it once we get up to those top few. And then we can really hate.
So
on each
number
other.
9 is for me is Walking Dead.
All right, not a video game, but
that was that's why it's. And this is honestly one of the ones where I really had a difficult time. Like, why is this better than some of the other games that I was thinking about? And to me, it's just the overall experience. It's just emotionally how I felt playing this game is something I don't think I've felt in really many other games. It's just
in life, really.
Yeah.
It's the most.
No, it's just like, but most games don't kind of capture you like this game does, where it's just like, I remember at the end of episode 5, I legitimately had tears in my eyes, and I won't go into spoilers what happened there because I know everybody's finished the game, but just what happens, like.
Mm-hmm.
You can spoil. I mean, come on. If somebody hasn't beaten Walking Dead by now, do they really deserve
there's a sign
the spoiler
with,
alert? I mean, I didn't beat it either.
Yeah,
but I went through the first 3
hours
chapters,
to beat
and then I kind of gave up.
So
it takes 3 hours to beat that.
So in the end, like one of the last scenes is what's oh my god, what's the main character name? I'm sorry, Lee. Thank you,
Lee.
So yeah, he gets bit.
And Clementine.
He gets bit at the end of episode 4, and then he's trying to hide. You can choose to hide or tell people. And through episode 5, he's basically trying to get Clementine to like where she's safe. Or no, Clementine gets taken, so he's trying to find Clementine before he changes. And it just so you finally get Clementine, and it's just the scene where you could decide whether Clementine shoots you, or just like she handcuffs you to like a heater, and you can either shoot him or leave him be, or let him shoot himself. And it was just like that whole final. It went on for like 10 minutes. This is final scene where, and this is the build up, and where it's just like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna let him turn into a zombie? You can leave him the gun, or you can take the gun with you. You're gonna shoot him. Just overall, there's just 50 other moments like that where it's just like the decisions aren't easy ones. It's not like there's not good and bad decisions. It's just every decision is there. It can be good or it can be bad, but it's just like, do you get stuck in a situation? Do you want this person to live or this person to live? Do you want to give this person food or give this person food? And so not all of them have positive or negative situations where like it's just the obvious which one's going to happen. Kind of like Dragon Age, where there's 6 options, not all of them, and they're not easy ones to know what's good and what's bad. And that's why and it's not the fact that it's not a game so much is why it's lower on my list. But,
no, I'm just messing though. It's a game.
I know it's not really a game, but it's the story alone is worth being in my top 10.
You know what you forgot about though? You forgot about the most emotional scene in the game when you have to figure out to put the batteries in the radio. That one, I mean, I was crying like a little baby. I mean, lost his baba. It was just a sad moment for me. When I realized the batteries went in there, I was like, oh, And there was.
They were in the wrong way. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was definitely an issue for me. That's why I had issues putting it on my top. Like I had some issues with putting it on my top 10. Was just half of the game was just stupid crap like that. But I think the story and the decision making is what is worth it for me being on there.
Art style was pretty cool too. I have to say, I enjoyed that about it a lot. Yeah, it was. They used the cell shading very well to get. You did feel. Even with my blackened heart, I could feel some of the emotions that I was supposed to be feeling. I think. I mean, if I was a normal human, I think I would have been feeling more emotions. But they did a good job with Lee and Clementine specifically. It's kind of a cool story. Yeah, I agree. I like that. All right, what else we got?
Okay. All right, so Knuckles, we'll go back to you now. What's your number 8?
Well, my number 8 is actually Mass Effect 2.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's like I enjoyed it. I did like 18 playthroughs of it.
Wow.
That's
more than me.
Yeah,
you
pretty
played
much.
Mass Effect 2 more times than I have. That is a shock. I didn't know there were people out there. But yeah, I like the N7 hat should have knocked it off.
Little fun fact: there's like fucking what was I saying now? Well, the upgraded graphics and like how you went from Mass Effect 1 where you find out Saren was being controlled by the Reapers or the Collectors.
Reapers.
It's been a long time.
17 playthroughs, dog. 17 playthroughs. I can see the story really had an impact on you. What are those guys called? The Reapers, the Nazis, whoever they are.
He just skips to the sex scene every time.
Well, there's no, it's like Reapers and there's Collectors, and Collectors are a big part of Mass Effect.
All right, so the most important
That's
question
why I
about
was-
this game, though, is which chick do you want to bone the most in the game?
Miranda.
It was probably either between Liara and Tali. Leaning more towards Tali because you got that little mystery factor going on.
I guess he likes it saucy. Anyway.
I'm a big Liara fan. Liara is, she's one of those chicks who has her shit together, so you don't have to take care of yourself, and I'm a real big fan of chicks like that.
Right.
And she's blue.
Okay.
And she's blue, and
But,
who doesn't want a blue vagina? I don't know.
Oh, let's be honest. She probably didn't play as a female shipper then. But Mass Effect 2 is like, it looks better, and it's like, I like how you didn't have to do all the driving over planets in the Mako for your materials.
Tread lightly when you speak of the Mako.
Well, my favorite mission in Mass Effect 2 was when you go to the Mako crash site, the Normandy crash site, and you see
You
the
pick up
Mako
all the little
destroyed.
tokens. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you see. I stared at that Mako for like an hour.
Die, bitch!
Saying yes.
Glad to see your ass in ruins.
Yeah, it was like, but it's like the story is probably my favorite character of the game is probably Garrus.
Kind of a badass. I appreciate
Garrus is a
him.
badass, especially later in Mass
Indeed.
Effect 3.
Okay.
Well, that was my number.
And
8.
Yoshi, what's your number 8?
A game that I actually forgot about until I think Jack brought it up for me here, Jack of Hearts. Spec Ops: The Line. The only game on my list here that I haven't played through multiple times because it was so affecting and I was so disgusted by myself and by video games in general by the end that I just didn't want to play games for a while. By far the most immersive game I played this generation. I was in that game the entire time. I remember finishing it late on a weeknight when I had to go to school the next day and teach, and I was just kind of like, how am I going to go to sleep now? I feel so bad. Like, the game was able to elicit such strong, real emotions from me, and I that doesn't happen. I mean, I know in Gears of War they have these scenes, where you find Dom's woman and she's, destroyed. It's horribly melodramatic, but everything in Spec Ops: The Line felt true to me, and they forced you into making choices that you didn't want to make. And after you made him, you're like, God, I'm an asshole, but you really had no other choice. So you kind of just, it was really brilliant. There were tons of allusions to classic literature, which doesn't hurt my vantage point on a video game at all. As for the gameplay, it was passable. It was basically a Gears of War clone in a lot of ways, but just the story was, again, one of those games where I was intently following the story. Excellent voice acting by Nolan North, which is not to be surprising or anything, but totally different from what we're used to hearing with him with Nathan Drake. And so it was really cool to have this kind of anti-hero guy voiced by Nathan Drake. It was great game. I highly recommend it to anybody who hasn't had a chance to pick it up. It's kind of one of those ones that alters the way you look at video games. So that's my choice for number 8.
Very nice. Okay, and let's go on with Jack. What's your number 8?
I guess I might get flack for this one, but my number 8 is Pokemon Black and White for the Nintendo DS. Well,
are we counting the DS as this part of this generation, so to speak?
Well,
it
came out around 2005, and it lasted upwards until like 2011, 2012. Yeah. So yeah, I would think it would count towards this generation.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess I was just thinking of consoles more.
Yeah, because 360 came out
2005. Like winter or something close to.
Yeah. So.
But anyway, the reason why I chose Pokemon Black and White over, say, like the previous ones, like Diamond and Pearl and stuff like that, is because, sure, the Pokemon formula hasn't really changed at all, pretty much since like Red and Blue. But the reason why that I chose Black and White in particular is the first game in the series where you could actually just reminiscent back from the old games. You start out with all these new creatures and stuff. You don't know which creature is good, which one's this. It's just more like a mystery option where you can construct your own team that you felt was really strong and stuff. I mean, there are other incremental improvements. Say you can teach your monsters specific moves without worrying about wasting a particular technical machine because there's only one of them now. Oh, hey, look, it's easier now. There's unlimited uses, stuff like that. But another element that I liked inside this particular game in general was they actually focused a little bit more upon actual story elements. I mean, in the previous Pokemon games, it's okay, you go around from town to town to town, you create a team of 6, you go and battle gym leaders, battle the Elite Four, battle the champion. Okay, that's it. No aftergame. But for this one, it's sort of expanded upon say, instead of facing this evil organization stuff, you're facing more an evil kind of a cult where they're focusing upon, okay, let's give it sort of a Pokemon PETA type of effect.
So Mormons. The Pokemon trainers come to your door and ask you if you've heard the word, and they give you some books.
You know what? That's kind of uncanny because
heavenly Pokemon.
That's actually
pretty close. Josh is actually pretty close on it.
You walk into a new town and they're just gathered in their group. It's like, did you hear the word? Release your Pokemon from.
Don't enslave them. Release them from their Pokeballs. Let them be free. But
meanwhile,
yeah, exactly.
I don't really see the argument against releasing the Pokemon, though. It does kind of seem like they're slaves.
It's an argument.
I think I'm on their side.
Well, the point is, you find out later in the story that they're just trying to make everyone lose their Pokemon so they'll be.
Yeah, exactly.
It always comes down to that.
So they're Scientologists?
The belt.
Scientologists. Okay, anyway, that's my number 8. Let's go ahead and move on then.
Right. My number 8 is actually, I believe it was Yoshi's number 10, is Assassin's Creed 2. I'll kind of go over it real quick. He pretty much touched everything I wanted to go over, but I think they did realize that there was a lot of issues with number 1. There was 3 different kind of missions. Follow this guy. Pretty much that was actually. There was
beat up this guy.
Yeah, it was pretty terrible. Assassin's Creed 1. But I think Assassin's Creed 2, like you said, Ezio is one of the best characters this generation. Which is overall, Ubisoft has this thing with me where I want to do all their side stuff with Far Cry 3 and now Assassin's Creed 2. And it's just, I think I synchronized every spot. I did most of the side. I didn't do all the feathers. I'm not that crazy.
I did.
But
I'm missing one achievement on that game, and it's some stupid
God.
one. Like you have to steal a broom or a long weapon from a guard, and then sweep 6 people at once, or some stupid shit like that. I've just never gotten around to it. I'm like on the precipice of having the complete thing. But
wow.
Yeah, I spent a lot of this summer with my using my wife's iPad with the like all the locations of the feathers and flags and stuff, and going around and collecting them. It was pretty annoying.
Wow.
But I had to do it, like you said.
I'm doing that as I go.
Wow. But overall, though, I would say the storyline. This one was great. I think this is definitely the peak of the franchise so far. I think time will tell. I just beat Assassin's Creed 4 a couple days ago, so it's kind of hard to say how long maybe that one might be better in the long run. When I look back, I might find that one better. But right now, I think Assassin's Creed 2 is just overall the setting. Everything like that, everything about that game was just fantastic. So that's my number 8, and we'll go on to number 7 now. Knuckles, what's your 7?
My number 7 is actually BioShock,
wow.
the original, and yeah,
Good game.
I just like, it is a very good game. It's like I just like as you're going through the lighthouse, like the opening scenes, like then you just go into a submarine. And you just see this underwater utopia. It's like, just plane crash, don't know where you're going. You just go into the water. And then you just see that giant whale. Then you meet up with, God, what's his name? I know the name of the bad guy. I'm trying to think of his
Fontaine's cover-up name.
Yeah,
I can't remember it right now either.
It's
been too long since I played that game, but yeah, I know what you mean. I know who you're talking about.
Jack Atlas?
Atlas, yeah. No. Who is Atlas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, then you just seeing the little sister, like, playing with her, stabbing her little doll, and then the Blosser just coming up on trying to attack the little sister, and then just seeing the big daddy just come up and just destroy the Blosser to protect her, that's probably one of, like, the creepiest moments back in the early 360
Yeah, you just
generation.
described the demo. Which, that was the thing. I didn't know anything about this, and I downloaded the demo on a whim, and I played it, and I was like, I must purchase this game immediately when it comes out.
Well, the part where you're sneaking through as the Big Daddy is like, I thought that was pretty intriguing, but the last 2 hours kind of ruined it for me, which is why it's not higher on my list. I was like, okay, you got the twist, now you have to go find him.
It did drag a little bit, I'll give you that.
That's... okay. Okay. Well, alright, Yoshi, since he's not here right now, he's coming back. What's your number 6, Yoshi?
Oh, I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to put
7,
Mass Effect 2 and 3 here as one game.
Alright.
Because I don't really... because I feel like the changes that were made between Mass Effect 1 and 2 were much greater than the changes that were made between 2 and 3. So I kind of think of 2 and 3 as like a similar type of game. I think 3 is better gameplay-wise. I think 2 probably has the more interesting story. But I love both those games, don't get me wrong. I just... and I'll talk about this later. I think for the stuff that they took out of Mass Effect 1 and the way that they changed Mass Effect 2 and 3 into kind of odd sci-fi versions of Gears of War bugged me. And while I love the characters they introduced, I didn't love how I knew every battle was coming because there were chest-high walls there. And that made me a little bummed out. Some of the specificity of the RPG aspects bugged me. The mining was shit. Everyone knows that.
Yep.
But Mass Effect 2 and 3 together... I played 3 recently after so many people had said so many bad things about the ending, and really, like, that game overall has just an awesome story. It's so epic and sprawling, regardless of whether you're satisfied with the ending or not. The game itself is just really good, and I'd have to say that, it's barely held back from some of the other games that I have higher up here. But anyway, so that's my 7. I'm going to combine those 2 games.
Very nice. Okay. You got something to say, Knuckles?
I was saying that's just understandable because it's like 3 really didn't introduce anything that 2 didn't have,
Which
except for
is
really
awesome,
Yeah.
by the way. If we're just
Couple
going on my
characters.
favorite multiplayer experiences, Mass Effect 3 has one of my favorites. Put way too
Mass
much
Effect
time
3
into
was
that
very
game.
good, but then the yeah, it's like that kind of irritated me the most. It's like playing through this game. Oh crap, my universe rating went down to 50%. Now I have to
Yeah.
go back into multiplayer.
I don't even know if that had a real effect on the game. I've actually never noticed any
I don't think
difference
it does.
between...
I don't
Like
think so
importing
either.
your characters
Yes.
from
Oh, well,
multiplayer and single player, I don't think made much of a difference either.
We'll see. It like gave you
They didn't
more
do anything
to
about that.
troops, but
You can still
Which-
beat the game either
Yeah.
way.
well, actually, you gotta you can beat the game, but the more your multiplayer rating was up, but you could have gotten
Okay.
a better,
Okay.
even better ending,
Okay.
which
All
a
right.
lot of people
Yeah,
didn't
I played through
understand.
it several times. I never understood it, so whatever.
Alright. And Jackie Boy, what's your number 7?
My number 7 is Journey. Journey is like a very interesting indie game, in my honest opinion. For one thing, I know for a fact that the game doesn't last too long, like at least, 1 or 2 hours at most. 2 to 3.
Yeah, 2 to
That's
3.
right. But the reason why I place it on my top 10 list is because the overall experience, just by playing through that game, just all the way through from beginning to end with, like, someone I didn't even know. I mean, the game does a good job in the multiplayer co-op function and stuff. You don't know who you're playing with, but the random stranger you're playing with, is intricate and, vital to your part of, okay, I'm going to find a couple of, secrets here, I'm going to go here, and stuff like that. Oh, where'd that guy go, Because it's my friend and stuff, Him helping me out, just going from one place to another, solving these little puzzles here and there. The look of the game is incredible, especially when, even on the PS3 and stuff, it just looked like it was just really pressing a lot of the hardware itself, because a lot of the textures are very colorful, very vivid, but, well, you know what, for the vast majority of what I'm thinking about before I lose my train of thought, it was just a good overall experience. I mean, I would rather play a game where it has a good overall experience for a few hours, instead of a long drawn-out game that doesn't really contribute to much of anything. Like, for example, Final Fantasy 13. Cough, cough, hint, hint. But,
Oh, that was my number 1, you motherfucker.
That 30 hours of build-up was just fantastic.
well, you
Yeah.
did 30 hours.
The
I
30
spent
hours
80
of
hours playing
tutorial.
Final Fantasy 13
Jesus
before I eventually found out that the game was shit.
It's a lot of patience.
I had a lot of patience.
I
halfway
just
through the
never
second
bothered
mission,
playing
fuck
it,
this
so
shit.
that was kind of...
I maxed out the spear grid on that game too,
I never forgave Final Fantasy for leaving the Nintendo, so I haven't played anything after 6. Really,
1 and 2 are
so,
fantastic.
You haven't missed much.
yeah. 1, 2, and 3 on the SNES, or 1, 4, and 6, however you want to put it. Those games are just classics to me. But anyway,
Agreed.
sorry, moving on.
Okay, and I guess we'll go on. My number 7 is Dead Space 2. I just thought this is one of those games where I thought okay. Number,
Nice choice you have made.
this is one of those
Thank
games
you,
where it's
have.
kind of weird where it was just a constant sense of dread when I played this game. Like when I'd stopped playing it, I never had the urge to go back to play it. Because it's just I was scared out of my fucking mind the entire goddamn game. It just the setting where it's just the music and then the background, then you just hear stuff in the background moving around, or you see something move in the corner and you look and nothing's there, and then just the parts when you get to the daycare and there's all these little tiny freaking alien things running at you. Just overall, just the setting of that game was.
Those are called babies, actually.
These weren't babies anymore.
Oh no, xenomorphs.
Whatever,
or
the
something,
things
right?
from Aliens, yeah. But
Right.
I don't know. I think overall, it was just one of these games where I thought Dead Space 1 was really good, but I thought Dead Space 2 perfected. It's kind of like Assassin's Creed, where they did a lot of good things, but they took they took that and they added on to it, Dead Space 2, and just one of these games where it was one of those. Not very many games scare me, and are really not a lot of things, movies, whatever, scare me. And then this definitely had me immersed in where I was. Like, I felt like I was there on that ship, like all by myself. There was nobody around to help me. I didn't have anybody to talk to. I was just there, and just the atmosphere, just everything about that game was just fantastic. If this is the survival horror games or what you love, like you like the Resident Evils, the older Resident Evils and things like Silent Hills. This is Dead Space 3 not so much. It turned more into Gears of War knockoff, but this game was definitely one of the highlights for survival horror games, and that's one of the reasons why it's on my top 10 list. Okay, so go on to our number 6. Knuckles, what's your number 6 game of the year?
My number 6 game of the generation is Bethesda made it in Fallout 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's like just going through is like this nice this little bit of shitty rundown vault, and then you find out that there's actually a life outside of the vault, and what you've been raised since you were an infant wasn't necessarily true. And you escape and everything, and you just go out, you just cut to an open wasteland, and just going through like subway tunnels, like you find the super mega behemoths, or whatever the fuck they're called.
Things that was shot with nukes.
I'm just going with that. I like that. Super mega behemoth.
Yeah. Where the hell the fucking things you had to use a mini nuke to take out. But just being able to customize your weapons and like building that rocket launcher that just shot trash.
Yeah.
And he's like, you see that teddy bear? You pick up the teddy bear, put it in the cannon, and fire it, and take someone's head off. But it's one of my favorites. Just going through the story, and then you found out where your dad is, and just traveling, going through wasteland in general, just trying to survive from bandits and everything. It's probably I kind of wish it would have been higher on my list, but there's, in my opinion, better games on there.
Okay.
We shall see.
Yeah. Yeah, my opinion, better games on there, so that's probably the
All right, so Yoshi, what's your number 6?
My number 6 is a Valve game. Since we're declaring the developers, I guess, because he said Bethesda, and it's Portal, the original Portal. Because the reason why I'm throwing Portal on here is because I was really trying to think of games that made a big impression on me. Even if I didn't, I mean, I played through the first Portal a couple of times, just because I enjoy going through the puzzles and etc. But I'd never played a game like that. Any of us really had, where it was this really odd way of presenting the story, where you felt compelled and interested in it, even though you didn't really know who your character was. It was more about GLaDOS, of course, and then just the unique mechanics of trying to solve puzzles and the humor of it, the little pictures and the things that GLaDOS would say. It was just, I don't know, I was totally taken aback by that game. It was one of those games where I had friends who'd come over and I go, okay, hold on, I got to show you the end of this game. It's amazing. It's so cool. And so I would just show them the last final battle where you kind of dismember GLaDOS and then you get the Still Alive song. It feels like a generational game. Like if I had to make a time capsule and say what were games like, I would have to put this one in there, so people would know that we had like really thoughtful puzzle games, you know. Anyway, so that's my 6. I really like Valve, and this is one of my favorite Valve games. So
very nice. All right, so what's Jack? What's your favorite game? Well, I guess number 6 game. Who developed it?
Who's your daddy, and what does he do?
I love that reference anyway. Well, it's made by Bethesda, and Knuckles, I think you and I are of the same mind because my number 6 is also Fallout 3.
What?
Fallout 3, in my honest opinion, is one of the best games of this generation because it presented with a lot of various options where you could just, just play through as a bunch of different characters. I mean, you could play as, like, the superior, like, good guy or something like that with a big old power armor and stuff, just, like, doing this and doing that. You could be the thief, like the silver-tongued thief and stuff, just, like, tricking people, pickpocketing, like, setting Megaton to blow up or whatever the hell you wanted to do. But, I liked Fallout 3 because it presented a post-apocalyptic world which is very interesting, and it made me so interested in just looking at the back catalog, like, what happened to cause this massive destruction here? Oh, okay, like, you're going to the DC area, and you're just seeing, like, the mutants and the guys, like, duking it out and stuff like that, and you're visiting the Washington Monument, doing all these random moments, like the one vault where you had to visit and stuff, which, oh boy, I'm not too sure which vault it was, but it was with all of these random, like, vault goers and stuff inside this, like, perpetual, like, virtual reality type of, like, stuff where it was basically like sort of like a black and white TV show, pretty much. That was one of my favorite moments in that game, where you had to,
where you found out your father was trapped in one of these little pods, and you had to get him out of there. That was a fantastic point in the game. I totally agree.
Just try to escape from that whole VI and stuff like that. That was really a great moment, in my honest opinion, and most of the reason why it's on my top 10 is because of moments like that, moments where I can instantly go back to this game 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and have an entirely different gameplay experience than I did when I first played it, which, granted, I took at least 2 or 3 playthroughs before I initially got it to click with me. It's kind of like the same one I'm doing with Skyrim right now, where I'm like 30 hours in, I'm doing my mage and doing this and doing that, and it's like, crap, man. It's like Bethesda's making these awesome games. Just kind of makes me regret not playing Oblivion when it first came out.
I will say that is one of it's not, I'll admit right now it's not on my list. But I remember the first time you go into Washington, D.C. is probably one of the most memorable moments for me of this generation. There's a lot of great moments like that in the game. I'm not really sure why it's not on my list, but it definitely deserves to be mentioned on there.
All the little side characters and side business that's going on too. There's so much weird shit in that game. Like you mentioned the projectile launcher, Knuckles, but there's a ton of stuff like that. Like if you wanted to get the really badass, the MIRV or whatever it was that shot like 6 nukes at once, there was this whole side quest to doing that.
Oh yes.
And there's just so much little stuff, and of course 3 Dog in your ear the whole time, and that game actually made me fall in love with the oldies music for a while. I was listening to a lot of those songs, so really cool environment.
And the talking tree.
Well, yeah, the Oasis side quest was pretty fantastic too. The mutated tree man. Yeah. There were some. The side quests were fantastic. That game is so deep and intricate. I really I appreciate that game.
All right, very nice. And my number 6 is probably an oddball one. I don't think most people have probably heard of this game. Played it. Catherine.
Oh yeah, I remember that game.
Oh man, that game.
Oh, right.
I've heard about it.
Okay, wow, that's crazy. Okay, well,
us three.
They made a big deal out of it when it came out. I never figured. Are you a little person who likes playing on boobs? Was that the point of that game?
No, it was
It's like I kind of felt awkward. It's like someone comes in while I'm playing. And it's like, oh, you come into the cutscene.
Don't come. Yeah,
your pants are usually off when the cutscene's on. So
it just just so everyone knows, this is a game made by Atlas. I forgot to mention that. But no, this it's actually one of their highest. I think it's their highest selling game of all time. But it's a very Japanese game where you play as this guy and he has he's dating a girl named Catherine with a K. And then every night he goes out to the bar with his friends, and he gets drunk, and he meets this girl Catherine with a C, and she's very like sexual and always wearing like really sexy outfits, and just overall story it's like deals with cheating and how would you do with it, and I thought that was pretty cool. Just even though it's kind of wacky and everything, it's just kind of cool. Like you do get to you get to decide like how you talk to your friends or how you talk to your girlfriend, how you talk to the Catherine with a C, and that part's cool. But I thought The story was great, despite even with all the very sexual elements of the story. I thought the overall that part was great. But just the puzzles in that game were fantastic. Where it's just, even though it was very weird,
The puzzles in that game were ridiculous.
yes, they were. But pretty much the main part of the game was every night when he fell asleep, he would like get stuck in these dreams where like, and he could like, all these men around town were dying in their sleep, and they're all having the same dreams where like they had to climb this wall and they had to move blocks around to climb the wall, and they had to do it fast enough for, like, slowly but surely the levels would drop, and so you had to go faster and faster, and just things like that. And it was just him trying to deal with, like, you know, his girlfriend wants to get married and get a little more serious. He's scared of that. I don't know. It's hard to explain, like, for people to understand why I love this game so much. It's one of the maybe like the 3 or 4 games of this generation I beat multiple times, and I think that's part of the reason why it's on my list. But this is one of the closest games, like, where I don't think I have a single complaint about this game. For a puzzle game of that aspect, of like just everything about it for what it was perfect, and that's one of the reasons why it's number 6 on my list.
Real quick before we move on, did any of you actually
I've
beat
beat
that
it 3
game?
times.
No.
I never
about
even
you,
played it.
Yoshifett?
I watched a bunch of stuff about it, but I never got around to it.
Same
Okay,
here.
well, Tyler or Gingerboy, how was your ending?
I've had a couple different ones. My first one was he ends up with Catherine with a K at the end, and you find out the waitress was actually a guy. Used to be a guy, but it's a girl now, and she's dating one of your best friends, which was my ending.
Okay.
One
of these things is not
Did you
like
say
the
this was
other.
a Japanese game? And am I not surprised?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's bad. It's very Japanese, but it's fantastic.
So expecting tentacles coming out
Yes,
of
there's a
anywhere?
lot of tentacles, especially towards the end.
It's the hardest part of the mini games you have to get through is the tentacle clitoris. You have to figure out how to simulate it.
Oh, see,
Oh, God.
there's actually a funny thing about that game. There's actually a mini arcade
Yes, there
stand-up
is.
in the bar, which is the game, but it's a harder version
Yeah.
of the game.
Weird.
What?
Yeah, that's why I didn't play it.
Yeah.
That's really quirky.
Yeah, it's like you had to go play this like 2D black and white version of the game with like your character's actually
Nice.
a stick man. And yeah, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. It's like, how the hell is this game?
Hey, quick question
it's-
before we move on to our
It's a
top
mini
5.
game.
Can we break this in half, this recording, because sometimes my Audacity crashes after
Yes.
an hour, and I also want to take a little quick break. Gotta go to the bathroom and stuff. So
That's fine. Hey guys, Gingerboy here. I just wanted to apologize for the abrupt ending on this show. We didn't want to lose Yoshi's audio, so we decided to stop it right here. So we're going to split this one up into 2 parts. Episode 24, part 2 of this show, will be out in a couple days, hopefully. I'm sending all this stuff here to Knuckles on Wednesday night, the night before Thanksgiving. I'm not sure when he's planning on releasing it. So if it's the day of or not too long after that, just want to wish everybody a happy and safe holiday. And we will see you in a couple days with the second part of this. I hope you guys enjoy. Excuse me. Few too many beers there. Anyways, we're on iTunes now, so go on there, check us out, and if you like us, leave us a review, and we'll even shout you out. And Jack will send you his credit card number.